is CTV News.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. We begin tonight with election results from today's by-election. Windsor's Ward 2 residents have picked a new City Hall representative, Fraser Fathers. With more on tonight's outcome, I'm joined by Robert Lothian. Robert, tell us about tonight's results.
Yes, Carlyle, as you mentioned there, Fraser Fathers will indeed become Windsor's newest city councillor. He received 983 votes, according to the city's unofficial election figures, accounting for nearly half of the total votes. Now, Fathers is a consultant on nonprofit and affordable housing projects, previously working for the United Way. His priorities in the ward include boosting affordable housing, improving traffic calming measures, and addressing boarded up homes. He's crediting his experience volunteering and working in the ward for this win. Residents were sent to the polls after the resignation of Councillor Fabio Costante in June, who left to head the municipal housing corporations. Now, Fathers will have just under 1 year to leave his mark before the next municipal election. Over this span, he says the goal is to continue being available to residents.
I have a long list of ideas that I've heard from the residents here in West Windsor, and I don't know how that all plugs in to the mayor's upcoming budget and, what other council priorities there are. And I'm looking forward to sitting down with the mayor and the rest of council and having conversations about, well, what can be done in the next year. And, I think part of it is also just, continuing these conversations that we've been having through the ward, through this election, being available and keeping those conversations going.
It will be a quick turnaround for Fathers to change his focus from the election now over to City Hall. Windsor officials are hopeful a swearing in will come before the next council meeting, which is set for November 10th. Carlyle.
Robert Lothian, thank you very much. Meanwhile, Windsor's mayor is pushing for a budget with no increase to property taxes. Drew Dilkins says it's about keeping life affordable. But as Chris Campbell reports, critics say the mayor's plan could come with hidden costs.
Using strong mayor powers, Windsor Mayor Drew Dilkins is directing administration to come up with a 2026 city budget with a 0% tax increase.
I think it's realistic. At the end of the day, we know that we are living in uncertain times. We know that the economy is feeling the effects of tariffs and inflation, and we know that residents are scared right now, not knowing what Donald Trump may do next.
He says the goal is to maintain funding for infrastructure, asset management, and growth while helping residents manage the cost of living.
It is clear you can't do zero forever, and we've done it for a number of years, but the past few years we have not seen zero. The commitment that I made in 2022 when I knocked on everyone's door was that I would bring in budgets at or below the rate of inflation, and we've been able to do that.
But former City Councillor Reno Bordelin tells AM 800 that keeping taxes flat could lead to service cuts or higher user fees.
When we talk about cutting taxes, especially at a time like this, it only helps the upper echelon of taxpayers and people who rely on city services the least.
This is something we should do every year.
Ward 1 Councillor Fred Francis says he's always supported the idea of holding the line on taxes, but questions the timing, suggesting the move could be politically motivated ahead of the next municipal election.
I get it. Campaigns are important, elections are important, everybody wants to win. I get that. But we have to keep in mind there's people's livelihoods at stake, and consistency and being able to afford people money and save them money in the entire term, 4 years, not just an election year, is important.
I think he's out of his mind.
Residents we spoke with share mixed feelings.
If we don't, we're going to end up with a tax bill that's going to kill us because we just can't afford it.
We're paying enough taxes, left and right.
I would love the 0%.
Mayor Dilkins insists he's too busy to be thinking ahead to the next election, which is a year away, minus a day, on October 26th.
I'm committed on delivering the promises that I made in 2022 to residents. There will be lots of time in 2026 to talk about future plans.
Chris Campbell, CTV News.
Windsor police say they've arrested a teenager and they're still looking for 4 other suspects responding to a series of violent crimes this weekend, including 2 carjackings and a robbery. Sanjay Maru reports.
It's a late-night crime spree with multiple victims and spanning multiple streets from west to east and the south end of Windsor. It started Friday night on University Avenue West between Campbell and Josephine Avenues. Windsor police say 5 suspects approached a driver, pointed what looked like a firearm, and took off with his 2012 Volkswagen Jetta.
People walking around, it's a student area, people are coming. We have a lot of customers coming with their kids and all, and trust me, I cannot believe that this happened in this area.
The very next night, around 11 p.m. Saturday, another driver was targeted, this time on Division Road. Police say he was dragged out of his 2019 Chevy Traverse, assaulted, and left with serious but non-life-threatening injuries. Shortly after, that same Traverse pulled up near Magnolia Avenue and Harrogate Street in Windsor's East End, where a group of teenagers were robbed at gunpoint. One of them was pushed to the ground and hit several times. Back on Division Road, officers found the earlier stolen Jetta abandoned, linking the weekend's violent incidents. As for the stolen Traverse, officers found it early Sunday morning after it was involved in a collision in Chatham. The driver, a 15-year-old boy, who police say is one of the suspects in both carjackings. He's now facing 9 charges, including robbery with a firearm, aggravated assault, and possession of a restricted weapon. 4 other suspects have yet to be identified. Anyone with information is requested to contact Windsor Police or Crime Stoppers anonymously. Sanjay Maru, CTV News.
Sarnia police say they've now charged the woman accused of crashing a car through a car wash last week with assaulting an officer. Police released these images from the holding cells in Sarnia, where they say the woman got into a confrontation with an officer. The 62-year-old is from Windsor, previously accused of ramming a vehicle through a car wash entrance while entering in the wrong direction. Officials have said that caused roughly $30,000 in damage to the car wash. Coming up, raising a glass to a record year. The local industry leaders thriving in the middle of a trade war.
5K a day is back on 93.9
Virgin Radio.
Listen to Hannah and Johnny in the morning for your chance to win $5,000
every weekday.
5K a day.
Virgin Radio.
And we say good evening now to Gary Archibald with me tonight. Gary, after a day like today, I know the days are getting numbered at this point the later we get into the year, but we'll take many more like this as they come.
You're right about that, Carlyle. Good evening. I think we'll see this ridge of high pressure continue to keep things clear through the overnight. Still cool as to be expected at this time of the year. Lower single digits, maybe 3 plus 4. Some areas a little lower than that, maybe a degree warmer. It's fluctuating right now, and the long-range models are still struggling with the overnight temperatures. We got to 14 today. That's seasonal for this time of the year, about a degree above average. Ridge of high pressure is keeping things essentially clear and fair right now across the entire province. Things will change across the northwestern flank with showers headed towards Fort Francis, Lake the Woods. Meanwhile, anywhere from, I'd say, eastern Lake Superior shores, south and east towards Lake Ontario is going to be relatively quiet. There's good news as well for the next couple of days with respects to the rain count. It's dry for the next few days. In fact, I'm not anticipating any showers at least until maybe Thursday afternoon. The good news is that this will give you an opportunity to rake some of those leaves. The windy day today would sustain winds close to 30 and gusts in the 40s to 50s across extreme southwestern Ontario has raked many a tree across the region. We'll see about 4 degrees Celsius now, the latest models indicating is the low before tomorrow at dawn. I think Tuesday starts off clear and fair throughout. For the most part, mainly sunny to start, a coolish 4 degrees at 8 a.m. The wind out of the east sustained at 15 kilometers per hour. Not as strong as today, but still breezy, and breezier by a touch through the afternoon. It'll be a sunny afternoon, going up to a high of about 14, with sustained winds still out of the east at around 20 kilometers per hour. Take a look at the 7-day forecast. The highs and lows anticipated Looking at sunshine, that ridge still in place the next 48 hours, 13 followed by 14 respectively for daytime highs. Tuesday, Wednesday, cloudiness ensues Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday with a chance of showers Thursday through to Saturday. Temperatures take a nosedive, 11, 11, 9, 9, and 9. We are cooling. That's the temperature trend this week beyond Wednesday. And we'll see single digits for daytime highs, several degrees below seasonal. Keep that in mind.
Thanks very much, Gary. The Prime Minister took questions from media today for the first time since President Donald Trump terminated trade talks with Canada. Mark Carney says before that, progress was being made. With more on where things stand now, here's Judy Trinh.
Official handshake. The Prime Minister began his day with a meeting with Malaysia's Anwar Ibrahim, the fourth leader from Southeast Asia that he has sat down with at ASEAN. But the one-on-one he needs is slipping out of reach.
Whether it's provincial or Canada itself, they all knew exactly what the end was. I don't want to meet with them. No, I'm not going to be meeting with them for a while.
Mark Carney revealed he has not spoken to Donald Trump since the U.S. president broke off trade talks on Thursday. Trump ended negotiations over an anti-tariff ad that the Ontario government commissioned, just as the federal team was close to getting tariff relief for steel and aluminum. The Prime Minister was asked if he was upset with Doug Ford.
You can get unexpected twists and turns, and you have to keep your cool. We had made progress, to repeat. And we stand by the progress that had been made.
Trump is also threatening to add 10% more tariffs on top of existing ones. When those take effect is uncertain. It's a stunning reversal from Carney's last White House visit just 3 weeks ago.
How did your relationship with Donald Trump go south so fast?
It's a question for him.
Carney has considered the possibility the U.S. is toying with Canada and doesn't want to negotiate.
I'm not about to detail those contingency plans. I said this before I was elected, emphasize the importance of us giving ourselves far more than any foreign government could take away.
At the ASEAN summit, Carney said Canada would increase by 50% its non-U.S. exports over the next decade. That would amount to $300 billion.
Trump may not want to sit down with Carney, but the president of China does. Xi Jinping and Carney will have a bilateral meeting in South Korea. The two leaders want to recalibrate the relationship between their two countries. Judy Trinh, CTV News, Kuala Lumpur.
Meanwhile, Premier Doug Ford is defending the anti-tariff ad, saying it achieved its goal. As Siobhan Morris reports, that's an angle opposition leaders aren't buying.
On the floor of the Ontario legislature,
it was the most successful ad in the history of North America.
In interviews on American TV,
I don't regret it at all.
Premier Doug Ford unrepentant about an anti-tariff ad featuring the voice of Ronald Reagan that's derailed trade talks.
Well, as we say, mission accomplished. It was done. They're talking about it in the U.S., and they weren't talking about it before I put the ad on.
Ford says the goal was always conversation. No guilt that a deal on steel and aluminum may have been close before Donald Trump intervened over the ad.
There's no mention whatsoever of auto. I feel like it slipped to the side. I'm going to fight for the auto workers, the steel workers, the manufacturing.
The opposition sees this as an unforced error.
What they did with that ad, it wasn't smart. There's a good chance Ontarians are going to pay with their jobs.
Calling on Ford to worry about the jobs already at risk in the province.
Instead, the Premier is focused on an ad campaign that's there to, boost his ego, make him feel like a big guy?
We need to be united as Team Canada and not have individual premiers go rogue.
Ford insists the Prime Minister had seen the ad and didn't tell him to keep quiet. Siobhan Morris, CTV News, Toronto.
Local winemakers say for them, the trade war has ended up producing a record year. A major part of that, taking American products off LCBO shelves. With more, here's Robert Lothian.
A Across about 12 acres of grapes, Colchester Ridge is in the midst of a busy season. With only 2 varieties left to pick, this one is already being chalked up as a success.
The growing season is always good in this area.
Producing wine-quality grapes requires certain weather conditions, a mix of hot, dry conditions throughout the summer and early fall made for the perfect mix.
When we have excessive rains and things of this nature, the berries swell up, they take on all the moisture, and that waters down the sugars that are available in the grapes. So the drier it is, the sweeter our grapes.
It's been a hot and heavy one. We've pulled in a lot more grapes than we ever have before.
Sprucewood Shores President Steve Mitchell says success is also growing outside the vineyard. The LCBO is reporting sales of Ontario VQA wines made strictly from Ontario grapes are up 67% compared to this time last year.
Most years when we have a good year, you might see 4 or 5% growth. That would be a solid growth year. It's 70%, so it's actually gone bonkers.
Mitchell credits a shift in provincial policy that includes Ontario's boycotting of most U.S. spirits and wine as part of the ongoing trade war.
In the era of trade wars and people basically looking at what we're buying from and what we're buying, it makes a lot of sense for us to buy and grow something here that we can make. To buy from somewhere else is just another trade imbalance.
Ever since they removed the American wines from the shelf, they had to make up the shortfall, so they started to promote our wines.
While there's no telling when U.S. wines will return to Ontario shelves, producers in Essex County are confident new customers are here to stay. Robert Lothian, CTV News, Harrow.
Checking today's market numbers. In Toronto, the TSX was off 77 points to start the trading week. In New York, the Dow rose 337 points. The Nasdaq was up 432. The Canadian dollar up about 1/10 of a cent. On commodities, gold dropped about $120 an ounce. Oil lost 19 cents a barrel. Welcome back. Canadian health authorities have approved an expensive new drug for Alzheimer's. Researchers say the medication targets the cause of the disease, slowing its advancement. Heather Wright reports.
After 2.5 years, Health Canada has approved lecanemab, an intravenous drug that studies have shown can slow the progression of Alzheimer's in patients in the early stages of the disease. John Dalrymple Fraser was diagnosed with Alzheimer's about 5 years ago, the same disease that both his mom and his dad also had.
Thinking of my own family, I don't want to forget their names. I want to remember them. So getting diagnosed early gives me a chance.
Lecanemab's approval marks the first time a drug that targets the root causes of Alzheimer's will be available in Canada. The current therapies only treat symptoms and were approved more than 2 decades ago. While lecanemab will not cure Alzheimer's, doctors say it helps buy time by slowing cognitive decline and extending independence, and offers hope to families.
Is when independence becomes interrupted and patients require family members, people around them to start stepping in, that the impact of this disease really becomes felt on communities, on families, on the Canadian healthcare system.
Lecanemab is not without risk. It can have serious side effects, including swelling and bleeding of the brain and death. Once available here, not every Canadian will be eligible. Only those in the early stages of the disease will qualify. Patients will also be genetically screened, as side effects are more likely in people with certain genes.
Another major issue with this drug is cost. A Canadian price tag has not been set, but in the United States, it costs roughly $26,000 US. It's also not clear whether provincial health plans will cover it. Heather Wright, CTV News, Toronto.
Provincial government leaders say they'll invest $1.1 billion over the next 3 years to expand home care services.
Our government's investments will help shape the future of home care in Ontario, allowing even more people to receive convenient, high-quality care in the comfort of their own homes, surrounded by their loved ones.
The health minister says the funding will connect patients who don't need to stay in hospital with nurses, physiotherapists, and other healthcare professionals. She also says the investment should ease the strain on hospitals and better support Ontario's aging population. Flu shots and COVID-19 vaccines are now available to the general public.
An excellent uptake. A lot of those people really understand the risks of catching some of these viruses and will go out of their way to get vaccinated. And because vaccines like COVID vaccine and flu vaccine have been so readily available in pharmacies with extended hours, we're seeing a lot of, especially our older folks, taking advantage of those.
They're administered at pharmacies, some public health units, and participating doctor and nurse practitioner offices. They've been available for higher risk groups for several weeks now. The federal jobs minister says the upcoming budget will include $75 million over 3 years, boosting an apprentice training program. She says the government will work with provinces to speed up recognition of foreign professional credentials through a separate $97 million fund. They're both among several job programs under the Union Training and Innovation Program. She says the budget will include a new personal support worker tax credit as well, plus an amendment to the Labor Code restricting non-compete agreements in federally regulated workplaces.
Discussion here at Windsor City Hall.
Windsor's top stories.
A major project is about to get underway.
Breaking news alerts.
Severe weather is a possibility.
And watch live.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us.
Download the CTV News app.
It's early days in an uncertain season for local curlers. Many have had to go to great lengths to find ice time while repairs are carried out at the WFCU Centre. Bob Belichico reports.
We have a waiting list of 27 people right now that want to join us.
Not ideal, but reality for the curling community. Curlers are displaced from the Capri Recreation Complex because of repair work being done at the WFCU Centre after a fire earlier this year caused $1 million damage. The Windsor Curling Club's Senior Association is curling at Beach Grove.
We're very, very thankful that Beach Grove let us in for the year. The ice is phenomenal. The service is fantastic. We're having a lot of fun, and we're staying active. That's the main thing for older people.
Joanne Kozak has been curling for 30 years and was struggling to find an alternative for the season.
I was thinking about pickleball, and I don't know if I would have been able to make it, so curling is definitely for me.
It was open ice. They weren't using the ice, so it's a good deal for them too, and it's a great deal for us.
Terry Hoof's daughter is like many young Windsor curlers who have one option.
She's had to go to Leamington, and so she's in Windsor, works till 5, has to drive out to Leamington, curls there from like 6 till 9, and then has to drive home again and then get to work the next day.
There are some not curling this season at all. The hope is curlers will be back at the Capri Complex at this time next year.
And there's a little bit of anticipation of, are we going to, or are we not? And if we're, let's hope we're going to.
So far, it looks good. It's on schedule, and we hope to finish late spring, early summer, and then next fall, winter, we'll be ready to go for all of our user groups.
The city anticipates having all of their rinks online next fall, which means that this rink here at the Capri Recreation Complex will be converted back to curling. I'm told that the equipment is still in the building and the conversion shouldn't take that long.
We're looking forward to having everybody back in their spots.
Bob Belichico, CTV News.
The St. Clair College women's soccer team came up with a historic win this weekend. For the first time in 37 years, they clinched a provincial championship, and with that earned a spot at Nationals coming up next month in November. They beat Centennial College 4-1 in the final.
Good bunch, great program, great school. The people that it took to get here is incredible.
I'm so excited. Our team this year, it's just incredible, and I'm so excited to experience this with this group of girls.
Meanwhile, the Windsor Lancers football team is 2 wins away from a provincial title. A last-minute touchdown secured a 31-24 victory for the Lancers over the visiting Ottawa GGs. Windsor will take on Queens in the next round, hosting an OUA semifinal for the first time since 1990.
Yeah, having Guelph win was a big relief for us. You know, playing at home in front of this crowd, you know, it's unbelievable. It's been unbelievable all year. And, you know, first time since 1990. So it's going to be unbelievable atmosphere here. And looking forward to it.
And before we go tonight, checking back in with Gary Archibald for one more look at the 7-day forecast.
Carlyle, I think it's a cool night, but a clear night, a bit breezy tomorrow, not as windy as it was today. Sunny throughout much of southern Ontario for the next 2 days, with temperatures seasonal, what we would expect at this time of the year. 14 degrees probably is what we'll see tomorrow afternoon. Some models suggesting 13, and then 14 again on Wednesday. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, cloudy. That 3-day stretch. Also a risk of some showers there, about a 40% chance of an occurrence or more, and temperatures cooling off. We'll be in double digits Thursday and Friday, but still 11 degrees is about 2.5 degrees below average, and then 9s for highs Saturday, Sunday. Still cloudy and a chance of showers there, and still looking at 9s to start next week. We'll see if we'll rebound. For now, enjoy the sunshine and that fall color. Have yourselves a good night.
Thanks very much, Gary. Finally tonight, a young Jays fan supporting the team in a way not many others could. He's had a special prosthesis made symbolizing his love of the game and the championship he envisions. Pauline Chan reports.
A special package from Major League Baseball after they heard about 8-year-old Logan Dorna's special prosthetic eye.
We are so inspired by you. It must be so exciting for your Blue Jays to finally be back in the World Series.
Logan was diagnosed with retinoblastoma, a form of eye cancer, when he was 6 months old.
When he was about 2 weeks old, I started to see a strange glow in his left eye, and it would only be there whenever I was taking his photo or video using flash on my smartphone, and then I started to see it more often. It was approximately 6 weeks post-op that he received his custom-made prosthetic eye.
Since then, he's had several special designs.
The second one I got was Wreck-It Ralph because the movie just came out and I loved the movie. I did Mario for my third, Kirby for my fourth, and the Zelda Triforce for my fifth.
Then last month, the young Jays fan was due for a new prosthesis.
Logan's special prosthesis was made about 3 weeks ago when the Jays found out they'd made it to the playoffs.
The prosthetics now are made from a heat-cured, medical-grade acrylic plastic.
Matthew Milne is Logan's ocularist.
He wanted a Blue Jays eye made to celebrate the Blue Jays making the World Series, so he specified that he wanted the Blue Jays logo, the stitching, and a golden iris to celebrate the occasion.
Logan says the gold is to remind him of the glow from his eye when his mom first spotted the tumor. And he says his favorite Jay is Max Scherzer.
Because he has two different colored eyes, brown and blue.
Logan has vowed to keep his prosthesis in place until the Jays win the World Series. Pauline Chan, CTV News.
That's it for us. Thanks for watching. For all of us at CTV News, I'm Carlyle Fiset. Have a good night.